Well, I know some people were expecting the hamster to talk about some other stuff. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry. I need to talk to all the people involved in that particular situation, and we'll get it all sorted out. However, I was looking at videos today. I was in bed. It was this morning. I wasn't ready to get up, even though I was up at 5 o'clock. I know. Yeah, it's just I'm a company man, aren't I? So, this is RuinedLeon. Now, Joe Biden and the establishment, the communists, infiltrating our country, and they pretty much won at this point. Now, what they're saying to hamsters, you're a white dude, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. You're supposed to hate this guy. Why is that? He's black. Shouldn't you be putting a hood on, burning some crosses and shit? It's like, no. What are you talking about? Where do these people come from? Now, there are some people in the Communist Party. They think, well, the KKK is everywhere. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. Color don't mean nothing anymore. But these fucking people try to divide us. Well, you're white and you're black, so you're evil and you want to... No. And yet we keep falling for this shit. I don't keep falling for this shit. You don't keep falling for this shit, but people do. Oh, yeah, there's all this shit going on and lynchings and all that. It ain't happening. What year are we living in? We're living in 2023. Equal rights by law achieved in 1963, 1964. Certainly 2 or 3 decades later, 5 decades later, this is not an issue. Men don't care about the color of your skin. The government tells us we should. That's the problem. So anyway, just a little side note. Anyway, what do you say, ladies and gentlemen? We blame the victims. You know, those children that were murdered in Nashville by a crazy person. Let's blame the victims. Now, I thought, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I thought blaming the victim was a really, really bad thing. It was a big sin, really. You know, you had to go to God or Jesus or Allah or whoever and say, excuse me, I'm sorry. I gotta blame the victim. Nothing she does. And so these kids go into school in the morning, and they were the problem. Well, let's hear this fucking logic, shall we?
Another day, another school shooting in America, and another round of ridiculous hot takes.
They obviously didn't release a motive as to why she shot up the school.
Why do we need a motive? This person, this crazy nut job killed 6 people. For no reason. Do we have to have a reason? If we had a reason, it would be okay? Somehow? No. You don't go shoot people. It's not what we do. I don't care what their fucking reason is. You don't do that. Well, there's some motive and shit, and I don't care what the fucking motive is. I'm glad this piece of shit shooter is fucking worm food. What possible reason could you have to go into a school? Elementary kids, they're with crayons and they're having fucking milk and whatever. And this piece of shit comes in and slaughters them. I don't care what the fucking motive is. Doesn't matter. You don't do that. What's the matter with you?
Vote yes for Prop F on Tuesday, April 4th, and support
our as well, by the way. That was great. Okay. We'll try it again. Well, then I fucked that up, didn't I? Yeah, I sure did.
Another day, another school shooting in America, and another round of ridiculous.
I got so excited there with the mouse. The mouse just got crazy. Go.
They obviously didn't release a motive as to why she shot up the school,
We already talked about it. Go.
but I have a pretty good guess.
So, why don't we blame the victim?
What have Christians been doing lately?
And what have Christians been doing lately? You tell me. And whatever Christians are doing, that's an excuse for this particular piece of fucking shit to go and kill 6 people. 3 of them kids. Really? Okay, tell me the horror. All these evil Christians, what have they been doing?
They've been banning books about LGBT.
You mean the ones that talk about kids giving blowjobs to adults? About having oral sex, anal, that kind of shit? Goddamn right. It's not just Christians. No. It's Muslims. It's Jews. It's everyone with a fucking brain in their head that's still sane. Little children do not need to know about this and fucking nonsense. So you can blame the Christians if you want, but most people who still have a brain do not support this crap. You know that, little girl. Now, your handlers told you, well, we got to fight against this because you're fucking brain dead. You're a useful idiot. Oh, well, there's this and that. You believe what you're told because you're a fucking robot. You have no cognitive ability. But go on.
They've been discriminating against the LGBT.
Is that right? The Christians have. Okay. How? How's that? They don't want to hang around with these people? I think that's free will. Free association. It's in the fucking Constitution. Why don't you look it up? Why don't you? Did you miss that part? Too busy in your gender studies class, were you? Why don't you look it up?
They are banning drag shows.
In Tennessee, at schools. Now, you see, I know it's hard for you, sweetheart, but you know, for normal people who actually have brains in their head, that seems like a logical plan. Yeah, if they want to have drag shows, they can go downtown. No, Nashville, 6th Street, whatever the hell it is, do their drag shows. Hey, everything's fine. Why is it so important to be in front of children? Just asking the question. Why? Just curious.
So people are screaming, oh my God, it's a hate crime against Christians.
Well, let me see now. If there were a shooter, which happened unfortunately at some place, there were a bunch of Jewish folks, or there were a bunch of people in North Carolina, black folks that were murdered by some asshole. It was a hate crime, as it probably should be. I mean, you go out and shoot people, that's pretty much a hate crime. But for Christians, different. Okay. Oh, and we're blaming the victim as well.
But how about they are the ones that were bullying her first?
Blame the victim. What about that woman who goes into a thing and she's that? No, you can't blame the victim. And yet here we are, the same fucking people, blaming the 9-year-old children that were slaughtered by this fucking idiot. It's them. They did it. Right?
Today, in my criminal justice courses, we
Oh, well, you should take something more interesting like engineering. You get paid better.
discussed the Nashville shooting. And thankfully, my students raised awareness around
Thankfully, my students. Yes. Go ahead.
the fact that a lot of the media is misgendering the shooter, which
I don't care. I don't care what this person's gender was or identity. You don't go and shoot people. You don't go shoot up schools or malls or what the fuck? Someone who would pick up a weapon, a gun, and go shoot people is out of their fucking mind. Doesn't matter if the person was trans or not or whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter. No one who is sane picks up a gun and goes and shoots people. That's insanity. Nobody does that. Except fucking crazy people. But go ahead. Tell us how we're misgendering this person.
Why do we care? They unalived like
I don't fucking care.
6 people, including children.
Yeah, 3 kids, 3 adults. So now that we're misgendering, Jesus Christ, their fucking priorities are off way out in no land.
We do not condone that awful behavior. So
Really? Really? Well, good. No normal person does. And
screw them and everything they're associated with, right?
Okay.
Wrong. Because in my area of study, of work,
are we going to get around to blaming the victim again?
we look at the why. The why, in my opinion, is just as significant, if not more so, than the what.
I don't care what the why is. I don't care what the what is. You don't pick up a gun and go shoot up a fucking school. I don't care what your identity is. I don't care if you're from fucking Mars. You don't do that. Normal people do not go and shoot people. What the fuck are we doing here? Leftism for you.
And I can't help but think this trans man targeted a Christian school that he attended, that he may have had very negative experiences at.
Blaming the victim. Again. I thought that was verboten. We didn't do that. So if I said Chrissy Hind admitted to herself that she went into a place there was a lot of bad shit going on and bad things happened to her, you rallied against her. You can't say that. You're not the... You can't blame the victim. But here we're blaming the victims. Where did I get lost? Maybe I'm the only sane one left. I don't know.
How much the anti-LGBTQ legislation impacted his mental health.
Right. So no matter what, we're going to blame the victim. We're going to blame the government. We're going to blame everyone but the fucking shooter. Aren't we? Some crazy person gets some guns, goes and kills people. Blame them for bullying him. Blame a woman. No, it's different. These people are fucking insane.
To push him to this point.
Yeah, it was someone else's fault that pushed him to the point where he killed people. Somehow it's okay then. So I guess it's okay if those girls over there get grapefruited. Because they pushed to the limit where the guys couldn't help them. No, that's different. Isn't it? You don't blame the victim. Nothing she does can possibly cause that. But this guy was bullied. Go shoot up a school. No problem. Do you actually believe there are people that actually fucking say this shit? Well, the governor passed this law and the shit. Really? That's an excuse for this person to go kill people. Fuck's the matter with you?
Just from a sociological perspective, looking at it on its face.
Yes.
Somebody who lives in Nashville, who is just top of the news for all these discriminatory bills.
Yes, so we're going to blame the victims again.
Who identifies as male and I assume to be transgender.
What difference does it make what this fucking murdering scumbag identifies as? I don't care what they are. They went and they took a gun, or more than one gun, and they went into an elementary school and they killed people. And you're trying to make an excuse. The trans bills in Tennessee and the when they did, but what the fuck is wrong with you?
Who has already now, as an adult, probably experiencing a lot of discrimination and hate. Because
yeah, you know, the hate the kids experienced, Ginger. You know the hate they experienced? They're dead. So, where's
because of these bills?
You see, here's the thing. Now, if this shooter didn't like the bills, you and the shooter could vote other people in to make laws that are more acceptable to you. You know what the people that were murdered in Nashville can no longer do? Except for breathe. Just saying.
But also has probably experienced this all of their life.
So let's blame the victims. So a woman who drinks too much at a party, well, if she got R-worded, that's, wow, she should have known. I mean, I didn't want to bring this up, but I mean, obviously, of course she's not to blame for that. But here we are, innocent children, 9-year-old kids. Well, they're to blame for that because of some law that some fucking government passed. And it's fine that this thing, this murdering fucking thug, it's okay. No problem.
People don't just go up and shoot up a Christian school.
Normal people don't. Normal, mentally capable, cognitive people do not go shoot up schools.
Being the demographic that they are in the political climate that we're in.
Political climate justifies this fucking mental patient from going, it's fine. They went and shot up a school because they were bullied. And there's laws in Tennessee that they passed that they didn't like. So they went and killed people. Right. That seems completely fucking logical. Doesn't it?
Just because.
It does to you, doesn't it, Ginger? Yes.
They felt like it, like all of the other mass shootings when all of these dudes like just did it.
You mean those white guys? The other white guys? Excuse me. What if the white guys felt they were being oppressed by the Christian school? Would it be okay then? Of course not. What kind of cognitive dissonance would have these people? And I agree, this is a really small subset of people. These people in general, in particular, trying to make excuses, trying to blame the victims. Do you fucking believe this?
For fun, or they're anti-Semitic, or nobody would fuck them, like those reasons.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but sure.
It seems like he was an old student from that Christian academy.
So we can blame the victims again. Oh, that's fucking great.
Also in Tennessee, where they recently banned drag shows in a law that is so vague.
It's not vague at all. No. It says you shall not have drag shows within 500 yards of a school. It's not vague. What is it about that you don't understand?
My wife, who wears men's clothes but identifies as a woman, could get arrested walking down the streets of Tennessee.
Really? So if your wife wearing clothing men's clothing, what does that mean? Women wear jeans, women wear... What are you saying? So if your husband or whatever the fuck walks through one of these areas where it's forbidden to have a drag show, is your wife doing drag at that point? Doing a drag show? No. Just walking through the neighborhood. I think you got a pretty vivid imagination about shit that ain't gonna happen. But you know what happened? There are a bunch of people killed in Nashville, and you're trying to make excuses for the shooter, aren't you?
So while I do not think what the shooter did was justified,
well, that's good. Thank you.
In any way, shape, or form,
I'm sure the parents of the kids that died and the relatives of the other adult people who died will just love your fucking caring here. Great.
And they absolutely need help. Could it be potentially that this person was transgender, and with all of the laws being placed, he was afraid that he was going to be ridiculed and put into a box, kind of like the school, maybe?
I see. So it's then okay to go out and shoot people. Where do these people come from? Where do these people come from? This woman here, apparently lesbian, whatever, is worried about her wife walking down the street in blue jeans and a freaking jean jacket because her wife would appear to be a man or a drag queen. The fuck? How do you conflate this shit? You're in Nashville, Tennessee. Go down to 6th Avenue or whatever. Music Row. Nobody's going to give a shit. But if you want to do a drag show in front of an elementary school, people are going to have a problem with that. And so this is the reason why the murdering fucking thug went into the Christian school and killed 6 people. Because reasons.
He did when he was younger, and
let's make more excuses for the fucking shooter. Let's do that.
Didn't want to be called what he was being called.
So being bullied is an excuse to go kill people. Are you out of your fucking mind? Seriously.
I wonder if the parents of the victims of the Nashville shooting today would still have their children if these trans bills in Tennessee were never a thing.
I mean, are you? Sorry, guys. I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. But it is a ginger. Did you hear what she just said? It makes no fucking sense. But that's the entire fucking thing. None of this is supposed to make sense. Let me just rule.
I'm not a parent.
She's got big hooters. Go ahead.
Their children if these trans bills in Tennessee were never a thing.
All right.
I'm not a parent, but if I were, I'd be real mad at the government.
We're glad you're not a parent.
I'd be real mad at the government.
Really? You know what you can do, though? If you really don't like the Tennessee government or wherever you live, you can vote other people in. The people that are dead can't. See what I'm saying? Yeah.
You have a transgender person that was finally pushed so far.
Blame the victims. Go ahead.
And traumatized.
Go ahead. Blame the victims.
So much by the Christian conservative right that they snapped.
Yeah. Well, if the same thing is said about an evil white man who does some similar horrible thing like this, it's fine. He was bullied. He was pushed there. No, doesn't count in that case. Right? Am I on the right path? Go ahead, old grandma. Go.
They did the unthinkable, the unfathomable, and they murdered children. And now that very group of Christian right conservatives will use that transgender person as a poster for why transgender people are evil and need to be eliminated.
No, nobody is making a big deal out of why if this person was transgender or they were whatever. This person was crazy. Now you can say, well, it doesn't matter. As I've said a million times, and I'll do it briefly here, normal people, if they're trans, if they're gay, if they're black, white, green, who gives a shit? Normal people do not grab guns and go to a school and kill people. Doesn't matter if they're trans or not or whatever the fuck. It's not what you do. If you don't like the way the government's coming down in Tennessee, you go and vote for other people. So don't give me this shit. Wow, he was so bullied and shit. No. It's not an excuse in any other case. What about the guy who killed how many Jewish folks? I think it was in Tennessee. Or the black community over in North Carolina. Well, he was just so bullied by black folks, it was justified. He went in there and killed people. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. What is your mental condition to try and make excuses for this murdering thug?
Even though they created the environment that allowed that monster to develop, they are equally responsible.
Really? Okay. So the government of Tennessee is equally responsible for making this person crazy and going out and shooting people. Really? Is that how this works? Laws get passed you don't like, you go kill people? Fuck's the matter with you?
This is the methodology this entire country has been built on since the beginning. We did it to the indigenous.
By white people.
Were labeled as savages.
Yeah, it's white people. They're the problem.
They wanted to protect their way of life, their land, their lives.
Yeah, none of the Native Americans attacked the white settlers or nothing. That's all a myth.
We did it to black people and continue labeling them as angry.
I mean, these people are retarded. There's part of their brain is missing. But go ahead, Grandma.
Violent because they didn't want to be enslaved.
Yes, so violence is great if you're whatever.
And then anytime a marginalized group puts together enough organization and wherewithal to gain real political power, our government goes in and absolutely decimates them.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, though, sweetheart, Grandma. You love that democracy. And so democracy is 50.1%. And so if the people of Tennessee elect people to do these certain things and they're the majority, that's democracy. Yeah? No? Because they don't implement what you like. It's the radical Trump tyranny. Right? Now, you either like democracy or you don't. Tell us which one it is. Of course, they won't.
They did it to the Black Panthers. They did it at Rosewood, Tulsa, and so many more.
1921, the Tulsa race riots. We live 102 years after that horrible situation. And you're still bringing that up, Grandma? Really?
And then they use Christianity because they don't believe the Christian teachings.
How do you know that? What fucking special knowledge do you have that they don't believe? Really?
They use Christianity to justify their hate.
Really? So who is the hater? Excuse me, Grandma. Who is the hater? The Christian school went there, 9-year-old kids having a class lesson with their milk and cookies, or the person that came in and killed 6 people? I'm just curious if you can define hate for me, because that'd be interesting. Sounds like the person that was shooting is the hater.
And get all of us to buy into it. And it allows them to continue making the monsters that they need to feed us fear, and keep us from going after the root cause of all of these monsters, and that is whiteness and white supremacy.
Gee, I'm surprised. Aren't you guys? Aren't you? It's the evil white person. Of course it is.
And white women stand by the white men, fully complacent and equally responsible, because we are the ones that could tip the scales. That we don't want to endure any.
But you have the same right to vote, don't you? Don't you? Yet you can't seem to get a majority. I wonder if that might be saying something to you. No? No, it's the evil KKK. That's what's doing it. It's not that people don't agree with your fucking bullshit. You want majority rules, you're going to get it. If you don't get the majority, fuck you. Okay? We're good? All right.
Discomfort for any length of time. So we stand by, we wring our hands and say we feel so bad for people, and thoughts and prayers to the families that lost their children.
And what's wrong with that? It's a horrible situation. Why do you hate these victims? Just wondering. Why do you hate them? Curious.
All in the name of whiteness.
Yep. All in the name of evil whitey.
Anyway.
Yeah, got it.
I'm just done. I'm sorry I yelled.
Yeah, we were. You probably need to check yourself into the nearest mental institution, because what you said is ridiculous.
Aiden Hale. That's the name.
Whoa, what do we have here? Bull ring, check. Do we got tattoos? Probably.
Of the Nashville shooter.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I don't care what the person's name is. It is fucking mental illness to go in and shoot people. Did you miss that part? Are we going to make some more excuses up because it was bullied?
This video is about to be very uncomfortable for a lot of us. It's very uncomfortable for me to talk.
Trust me, dear. It's very uncomfortable to watch this video. It's not for the reasons you think. Saying.
About, but we need to talk about it. Aiden did a very horrendous thing.
Well, thank you.
Period, point blank. We need pew pew reform in our country.
Of course we do. Of course we do. Because, you know, if Aiden couldn't have gotten those guns, this shit wouldn't happen. Really?
But the way that the media and the police are misgendering and dead naming Aiden is
dead naming. Well, Aiden is dead. What? Oops.
Quite concerning. It's
yeah, it isn't to anyone but you, though. No one else gives a shit. We had a crazy person go in and shoot up a school. Cops took that person out. End of story. The only thing we mourn for are the souls of the poor kids and the poor adults that got killed by this fuck. And so, oh my God, the media is dead naming this fucking crazy person. Well, I'm terribly sorry.
Also concerning that I had to go to...
Sure, it's better, you know, it's probably worse than being dead, isn't it?
To the Telegraph from UK to actually get Aiden's chosen name.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if the person's... They shot up a school and killed 6 people. That's all I care about. And I'm glad this fucking person is dead. I don't care what their fucking dead name is. They are dead. Worm food. Yet let's make some excuses and tell us why. The evil Christians who believe in Jesus Christ, Lord our Savior, God, Allah, Yahweh, etc. Tell us why. It's our fault. Just curious.
It's upsetting that constantly it is she, her pronouns. That is incredibly frustrating.
I mean, do you believe this? 6 people dead. And this fucking cunt is worried about fucking Corona. Oh, God.
Because even though they did this horrible thing does not mean that we get to do those things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a boundary, and we can
respect the dead shooter. Mm-hmm. The murdering fuck. Respect that. No, I don't think so.
hold people accountable without being transphobic.
Oh, Jesus.
Even for...
Is this the sound of your summer?
Mm-hmm.
Put an end to mosquitoes with Dynatrap.
Wow, all right.
Some of the most horrendous things. So while you're watching...
You mean like killing people? Yeah, that's pretty horrendous. Mm-hmm.
This, also watch for transphobia because that's very clearly coming out.
Now, after 3 minutes of hearing what people have to say about this recent school shooting, I have a question for everybody. And
Yes, RuinedLeon. I'm glad you're finally here because I couldn't take much more
really
of
want
this
you
shit.
to think about this. Does it matter? Does it matter that there are laws in Tennessee that exist that are harming trans people? Does it matter that a bunch of people are getting upset that people on the news are misgendering an active murderer who is no longer on the fucking planet? Does it matter about any other reason you could come up with for any other school shooting, whether if it's a trans dude, a black woman, a white cis hetero transformer? None of these things, at least to me, matter. Why? Because you could come up with any excuse possible. Video games, life at home, bullying. None of these things will make me sit back and say, you know, it's reasonable to understand why you picked up a gun and went into a school and shot a bunch of people, specifically 9-year-old children. Because yes, the pain in America is something that's reasonable for you to do anything that is unlawful. I can't sit here and say I'm surprised because no matter the person, whether if it fits any narrative based on any political affiliation, there's always going to be somebody who makes a stupid excuse. Now, one would ask me, what's the solution to stopping all these school shootings? And I'm gonna honestly tell you, I have no idea. The strongest argument to me is something along the lines of gun control. However, you have to take into consideration people break laws and they'll end up stealing a gun, getting it from their parents, a family member that's distant, or stealing it from a store and doing whatever the hell they want with it. So I don't really have an answer to you as to how we could magically stop a bunch of people from doing violent things. We could put in some effort, we could put in some real thought, but just going around and saying these bills don't misgender an active murderer, don't say that these things are justified reasons as to make some weird excuse, even though you want to say it's not an excuse, as to justify murder, then we're all fucked. So like I say now, because I'm a little bit black-pilled in this scenario, when the next school shooting happens, and again, don't really care what the skin color or the sexuality, gender affirmation, whatever word you want to throw out, because it really doesn't matter. When the next time this happens, because it'll happen probably next week, don't be surprised. Just sit there and say, fuck, what we gonna do? How we gonna solve it? How? Who gonna solve it? What rules gonna be put in place? And how can we actively come together as a society that bitches about the most mundane things, from people being upset that hockey players aren't wearing gay pride flags to Twitter Blue costing more than $1? What we gonna do? I don't know. I'm just sitting here enjoying the fun. I'm enjoying the circus of a bunch of people, no matter who it is, making a bunch of excuses for somebody who don't fucking deserve it. So to anybody who's going around trying to play the sympathy card, like the people I showed you, fuck you. You know why? Because no matter the skin, no matter the gender, no matter whatever, you're trying to throw justification on a fucking murderer. So for that, fuck you.
I couldn't have said it better. Thank you, RuinedLeon. And God bless everyone, Easter week. Remember, Jesus is Lord. It's coming up on his resurrection, baby. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.